everybody. It is March 31st, 2021 in Akron, Ohio, PolymerCityRecords.com. It is Wednesday night, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 right now. But that means it is time for the sports show, PolymerCityRecords.com. 10-cent beer night. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
Baseball Bob specifically, because it feels like Christmas Eve, because tomorrow
is opening day.
Opening day.
Take
you want to sing?
me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some Cracker Jacks and peanut bars.
You're a goof.
I goofed it up.
That's all right. It's hard, but this is our second edition of opening day. Our first one was last July, so it doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it has. But thanks to the players, we're going to have a normal season. Me and Bob were just talking about before the show started today about the concerns about a lot of still regulations around the league, except for Texas. You got the Rangers down there that can do whatever they want right now. But right now tickets are pretty expensive. At least for Progressive Field, you have to buy at least 2 seats per. You can't just take yourself, which I do sometimes. So limited options at first. Right. But fans are still allowed to be back in the stands and be with the teams, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. And that's not going to be for the whole season either. We know that things are progressively
things are going to change.
Yeah. Even in my other businesses on the side, things are looking better too.
Yep.
As far as that regard. So everything is turning the corner to normalcy. So, but the bottom line is opening day. It's tomorrow, and it's very
now, if you're planning on going to the home opener, which is April the 5th.
Right.
The gates will not open until 1 hour before start of time. So the game, I think the home opener is 4:15.
Yeah.
So the gates are going to open at 3:15. They used to open 2 hours earlier, but it's going to... The lines up. You're going to still have 11,000 people up there, so the lines are going to be a little long. The hour to get to the first pitch, to get through the gate, get to the screening. There are some differences where no bags unless you got a purse.
Right.
You can't carry no bags into the field. Masks must be worn at all time unless you're in your seat eating or drinking. That's what I'll be doing. I'll be buying me a Coke or Pepsi or whatever they got up there. And I'll hold on to it for the whole game, try to keep my mask off. Okay.
Well, I don't think you're not going to a game until later in the season. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll wait till.
That's what I thought. You're saying it like you have tickets now, and you didn't.
No, but unless things change drastically, if I do go, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I don't blame you.
Because but we went to the Cavs game, or we went up to
right.
Whatever they call it now.
The Rocket Mortgage Field House for the
Loan Arena, whatever you want to call it. We went up there and everything was card only.
Right.
Well, at least at Progressive Field, if you got a credit card, they prefer you use the credit card, but they will take cash. So
right.
Where at Rocket Mortgage, it was strictly, and I went up there with just cash on me. I didn't have a card.
Right.
You know,
I had a cover for you.
I don't like using my card anywhere that anywhere.
Right.
So
that's just what to expect when you go to the game. There's going to be like limited food and drink.
There is going
vendors
to be
open for the game.
There's 200. I read this morning. There's 216 vendor places up there.
Yeah.
Different foods and hot dogs and burger places. Only 40 will be open.
Yeah, so that's a lot. That's a big difference.
Big gap there. But you can go on the website, your app, phone app or whatever. You could order it from your seat and go pick it up.
There you go.
But then tickets too. Everything's going to be on the MLB app. You got to have it downloaded on your app, okay?
Right.
So there are no paper tickets. Everything's on the app. So
right, and that's probably going to be for now on.
Yeah,
that's going to be a permanent.
We started that
right there.
last year down at the Charge games. Everything had to be on the phones.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. However, though, you can't change the game of baseball, no matter how much Rob Manfred has tried, and the game will be played tomorrow nationwide. Everybody's playing.
Everybody's playing.
Cleveland will be at Kaminsky Park tomorrow in Detroit to kick off their season, and they've beat up Detroit the past couple of years, so let's hope it keeps going. Before we get on that, because we're going to be talking a lot of baseball today, we got to touch up on our basketball, and we're going to start, unfortunately, with our Cleveland Cavaliers, where things are a mess right now. You know, they went and they won a surprising game about a week ago. Then they go on and play the Lakers. All right, now I'm watching this Lakers game. Again, Lakers have a lot of veterans, so they still had the edge of the Cavs.
But their two big stars did not play the game.
Correct. And they're LeBron's probably out for the regular season. They're saying that's so. Lakers are kind of beat up. And then Lakers just added Andre Drummond now too. But thankfully he didn't play against the Cavs this game because it. Long story short, so at halftime it's a good game. It's close. The Cavs are going back and forth. Larry Nance Jr. played a heck of a game. And then about the third quarter, they absolutely imploded. It was terrible. Chetty Osman was a turnover machine. They not just him, but there's just too many turnovers, too many bad, stupid shots. It was to the point it's like, guys, why are you taking these shots? Kind of like, and it cost them the game. Then they go on and they play Sacramento, where they really went head-to-head with Sacramento. There was a point in the game where the Cavs were leading by, I think, about 12. And they cannot hold on to a lead. They cannot figure it out. It's just mistake after another. Long story short, it came down to a goaltending shot Colin Sexton put up. Okay, so Cavs are up by 2. We're up by, I think, 1 at this point. Yes, they were up by 1. So it came down to 1.8 seconds or something. They had to do a full court pass. It may have been 3.4. And with 1.8 left, Harrison Barnes throws up a 3 and beats the Cavs. He hits it. It's just a great shot. And then they go on to play the Jazz. Now, the Jazz are one of the best teams in the league this year. Jazz beat them by about 39, I think was the exact figure. It's not 40. It gets a little interesting, though. Okay, so they get their butt whooped by Utah and Utah. That was actually expected. I don't think anybody actually put down the Cavs were going to win that game. Jared Allen doesn't play. He's kind of beat up. But then Chetty Osman, Dylan Windler, and Quinn Cook don't play. They're getting beat up. Usually you put the bench in at that point. It is now coming in because people were concerned, especially about Windler. I thought you're supposed to get your young guys out there and play. Well, it came out last night. It was about late last night. Windler's got a new injury. His knee is acting up. They're going to take him, get an MRI. They were afraid to put him out there. Chetty Osman, again, his turnovers may have affected his playing time. Quinn Cook, he signed under a 10-day contract, but who knows that situation. So, Cavs are, by the way, I forgot to add too, last time we had a show here, last week, the trade deadline didn't happen yet. They traded JaVale McGee.
Right.
They traded him to the Nuggets. They got back, I can't think of his name. He's a German kid, 7'2". He played, maybe just 7 foot. He played last night, 2 nights ago. Didn't do too bad for what, I didn't really watch him. Statistically, he didn't do too bad. And they got a second round pick out of McGee.
I was kind of shocked at that deal, that trade.
Yeah, and I
like McGee.
I was shocked at the whole trade deadline itself because I knew, okay, look, they have limited deals out there. I knew there was strong interest from McGee. What disappointed me was how the whole Andre Drummond thing panned out, okay? Because basically they rested and say, well, we're going to trade him, and we make sure that he's healthy and not hurt so we can't trade him. And then they don't get anything for him because they didn't have a deal that didn't make sense. So then they just cut him loose, and now he's with the Lakers.
I'm sure they had deals, but what they wanted.
Right.
They wanted probably a couple first-round draft choices down the line, a couple second-round picks.
They want a couple players came out.
And they should have known that. With a $28 million price tag on the guy's head.
It's going to leave anyway.
It's going to leave. He's going to leave anyway.
Right.
So
took
what you could have gotten and got rid of it.
Here's my attitude too, and it's similar to what you were saying the past couple weeks too. All right. Kobe Altman, he's done a great job as a GM. I'm not going to trash everything because he's had a hard hand to play. Okay. He made an awesome move getting Jared Allen in here. All right. This was easily the Andre Drummond move, I should say, was his worst move yet. Okay. And the thing is, with McGee, at least we got a 7-foot center back. They wanted the draft pick, so they got that. With Drummond, you that's your best player. Okay, yeah, Sexton's great, this and that. Drummond is your best overall player. Love's not playing. This guy was getting you in playoff position until you sat him. Okay? Now looking back at it, what I wish they would have done instead is said, look, Drummond's going to get his playing time. Allen, you're going to get plenty of playing chances to play. Okay? We are going to give you the minutes. With Love out, we're going to move you to power forward for a little bit. Just to get you minutes. Just to get you playing time, you know.
Well, I think we talked about that before. I told you, why are they sitting Drummond?
Right.
Why are they sitting him?
Right. And what I would have done is like, look, if we can't get anything for Drummond, if anybody's going to rent him out, why not us? If you want to get in the playoffs, this is the type of player you're going to need. If he's not going to come back, well, you got Jared Allen to re-sign next year. You know what I mean? And the team liked playing along Drummond. They like build. I won't say they build because they didn't build anything around him technically, but they surround him with some good young talent that liked working with him. And so you're trying to make the playoffs. That's step one, goal one, however you want to look at it. You have this healthy center who could have been, if you kept playing him, he could have probably been on the All-Star team too. Okay, so you took a lot of time away from him. He was healthy. You might as well just kept him. That's my biggest thing. That's what I'm looking at right now. Now this team is suffering. Allen's a little hurt. I don't think it's serious. They just need to sit him for a game. But you saw how Utah with Rudy Gobert beat him up. Mm-hmm. Just absolutely slaughtered them. And now you kind of wish you had Andre Drummond in that sense, you know. They should have just run him out. That's how it is. I like you're still getting your money's worth. He's still going out there playing hard. Well, you
not now, but
yeah. Well,
we should have.
Right.
They should have been playing the guy.
Right.
You know, I don't understand that.
You know, and that's why I'm very critical of that decision making right there. I get it if you couldn't find the deal you were looking for, but then why not keep him on the team to help you with that playoff run? Because him and Nance together, that was a great duo. That's why you were ranked 2 in defense earlier in the season. Now you're not. You're way down there now on the rankings.
No, did he go to the Lakers?
Yeah, he's with the Lakers now.
I heard that was a team that was really after him.
Yeah, he's officially with the Lakers now. I wish the guy the best of luck. It's looking like it's going to be the battle of star teams between the Lakers and the Nets. And then on top of that, to go away from
Utah's got the best record.
Yeah, they do. They have a great team. They have a great overall team, you know. So that's going to be the Lakers' biggest threat out there, especially with a banged-up LeBron and Anthony Davis. But what shocked me is now the reports coming in. Again, it's one of those things where it's out there, but the mainstream, your ESPN, your Fox Sports, they're not picking it up. LeBron was recruiting Steph Curry during All-Star break. I did have a problem because look, it's like, okay, there's that attitude around here because we're from Akron. LeBron can do whatever he can't. He's a great player. We know that, but that's the same thing as Michael Jordan asking Karl Malone, "Do you want to join the Bulls?" Or Larry Bird asking Magic Johnson, "Do you want to join the Celtics?" or vice versa. It's like just one of those things. That's a rival matchup, you know. And I know LeBron's out west now. It's a little bit, and I know it would work too. For the record, if Steph Curry ever joined the Lakers, it would work like that with him and LeBron. It would not be a problem. But it's just, Steph was always out to help beat LeBron. He did a couple times. LeBron came back and beat him once. Now they're joining up. If they do, that's a big. Again, Steph can make more money going to stay with the Warriors. I don't see it either.
I don't see that.
But the fact that LeBron. You know, it's the fact that it's come up, you know.
Well, sometimes LeBron thinks he can get what he wants no matter. All he's got to do is snap his finger. You know,
he's the biggest name in sports in the world. He really is.
I know. But
it's a different situation. Now, real quick, back to the Cavs. They play tomorrow night against the 76ers. 76ers are the number 1 in the East. Cavs are 2-0 against the 76ers. They are 4-0 between the Sixers and the Nets. I don't know how it works, but it does. We'll see tomorrow if they get bounced. And again, they beat the Sixers when they were pretty healthy, too, the second time. That was a good game. So we'll see what the Cavaliers break to the tail. And Embiid's not playing, though. The first time they played him, he wasn't playing either.
Well, you know, a lot of there's certain teams that have their number.
Right.
You know, it happens.
Right.
You know,
But
Cleveland's got the Indians got the Tigers' number, but the White Sox got the Indians' numbers.
yeah.
I mean, there's
in the past, last year, that's when the White Sox made the turn. But if you remember 2016, 17, I think the White Sox won a total of one game.
But every team
two.
has a team out there that's just
Right.
that always gets in their way.
Right.
We might have 10-game winning streak, and all of a sudden this team comes in and it's over.
Right, right. It does happen. So that's where the Cavs go going forward. The reports are coming out. You might see Dellavedova suit up for the Cavaliers tomorrow night against the Sixers. So that would be a nice change of pace. Will we see Kevin Love? I don't even know if we will.
Personally, I think Kevin's done for the year. I don't think you're going to see him this year.
You might not. You
Personally,
might be right. And they could really use him right now too. But you know what? Nance is playing really good. He's playing really well.
Well, another guy I was watching the other night, and he's played a couple times. I've watched him now. Is my good friend Dean Wade.
Yeah, he's fitting right into their plans. He's
he's not getting a lot of time.
No,
but he's getting into games.
He's kind of, and I mean this in a nice way. I don't mean to come off bad, but he's like a poor man's Kevin Love. The height, the way he can shoot the ball, the catch and shoot, and the fact that his defense is that's Kevin Love like. It really is, but he's just not as big and thick as Kevin Love was. But he's similar. He's a stretch four, but I think they're going to be bringing him back next year too. They're going to be putting him in the plans. I think
he signed a 3-year contract.
I think he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he signed a 3-year deal. I mean, but it ain't much. Like I think it's $300,000.
It might be $800 because it's because the
know.
NBA minimum's $1 million something.
Maybe it's $300,000 a year for he signed $8 million contract. I don't know. I know he's already signed 3 years.
Right. It might be $800,000.
And if he signs contract like that, he's not a two-way player anymore, so they can't send him back down to.
Right. Well, you know what? He's playing too well to go down to Canton.
You'll never see him back. He's done with Canton. I mean, But I got to see him play down there. You know?
And he did well. So that's the story with the Cavs. There going. They'll be playing it in Cleveland against Philadelphia tomorrow night. Real quick, we've seen a lot of madness in this March Madness in the last
bracket. Of the 4 teams left, I don't even got one of them in the championship games. My bracket's gone.
Your bracket's gone. Well, the other big upset, and maybe not the last. I almost said last, but the other big one happened yesterday. Number 11 UCLA Bruins takes out that team up north.
Michigan.
And they are going to take on Gonzaga in the Final Four. The other teams are Baylor and Houston, 2 Texas teams. Baylor was a number 1 seed, Houston's a number 2. And that is your Final Four for this weekend. Championship game will be on Monday. Who are we thinking here?
Well,
your bracket's busted. But
my bracket's all busted up. I'll be honest with you. I had Illinois winning it all.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. I was trying to throw some oddballs in there and stuff. But the best team out there is probably Gonzaga. I look for Gonzaga to win it.
I got a feeling it's going to be Gonzaga, and part of me thinks Houston's going to walk away with the win against Baylor. It's just a gut feeling. I don't know why. But I could see that. Obviously, it's one or the other, but I do got good.
Well, you know what? If Houston wins it all, we can sit there and say our MAC team lost to the champion.
There you go.
Because Ohio played it.
Right. Right. But yeah, this is a unique Final Four.
I just think Gonzaga is right now the best team in the country.
They are playing very well. They are playing tough. I gotta give Oral Roberts some credit though. They gave Houston a run for their money.
Oral Roberts played a good run.
They did. They really did. And give UCLA to a number 11 seed, taking on their region and just going right through it. I mean, that's impressive within itself. So we'll see what happens there. But that's your Final Four again this weekend. Gonzaga versus UCLA, and then we're going to have Houston versus Baylor.
We're also forgetting the Final Four for the women.
Oh, I know. UConn made it.
You got the Final Four is Stanford versus South Carolina, Arizona versus UConn.
There you go.
And there's something about that game is Final Four. First time ever that 2 African American women coaches will be facing off each other.
Really?
Yeah. And that's Stanford and South Carolina.
There you go.
So-
And I did hear today they announced the Woman Player of the Year, the first freshman ever to win it from UConn.
Really?
Yep. So that was a big. And UConn's got a great program. I think it's the same coach they had for years. He won 70 some games straight or something crazy like that. There was one year they just couldn't. It was like Gonzaga this year. Nobody could touch them. They were just that good. So
Anyway, they play Friday. Then the championship is on Sunday. Of course, men play on Saturday. Championships on Monday. And the men are in Indianapolis, and the women are in San Antonio, Texas.
There you go. We get the women in Cleveland next year. Next year. So yeah, we got a lot of things coming up for Cleveland. We got the draft in Cleveland coming in April. We got the NBA All-Star games next year, and then we got the women's Final Four and championship in Cleveland there. So that's going to be awesome. Real quick before we start talking, because we're going to talk baseball. What?
In the NIT tournament.
Oh, who in the NIT tournament?
Memphis, Penny Hardaway.
Hardaway.
Of course, NBA coach, ex-NBA player.
Yeah.
He led the Memphis Tigers to a 77-64 win over Mississippi State.
And they won it.
They won it. They won it.
Memphis there.
They beat Memphis Tigers, which was on the bubble for the NCAA tournament. They should have. A lot of people thought they should have been to the tournament, but they didn't go. So.
Next year, yeah, we'll see. Penny Hardaway, yeah, what a career he had there. I remember one of the things he's also known for too in his career was he was traded to the Orlando Magic after the Orlando Magic won the second straight number one pick overall. The first one being Shaquille O'Neal, the second one being Chris Webber, and they traded him for Penny Hardaway because they thought Hardaway and Shaq would click right away and win them games. And can you imagine if they would have just kept Chris Webber? Nobody would have got a rebound. Right. Nobody with Shaq and Webber there. Nobody would have got a rebound. Not that Hardaway couldn't rebound, but Hardaway was more small forward and score. An offensive.
Well, I looked up Hardaway the other day because when I checked out and seen he was the head coach at Memphis. I really never followed his career, but he's got some good numbers, and a lot of people think he's an outside shot someday at making the Hall of Fame, according to the one article.
I think he will, because you look at what kind of players you see. We're always talking about like NFL. They're pretty much they're pretty much on the ball, but there's some players that always seem to slip out of their hands. But eventually make it in. We'll see Clay Matthews there. I'm pretty sure someday. Baseball's very strict.
It's strict.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows you that we don't got nobody this year. Now, we do got a group from 2020 with
right.
Jeter and
Mariano Rivera.
They're going to be put in, but nobody from 21 is being put in.
Right.
So.
Where basketball's a little more flexible, believe it or not. You look at just how many players are there. I see Hardaway definitely, and you know what? This is a guy out of nowhere, but you look at who they've brought in the past. I'm not just talking about the big stars like your Shaq, your Kobe, Tim Duncan, Allen Iverson. There's other names around them that have found a way in. I'm dead serious. I could see Ilgauskas making it there sometime with the numbers he had.
His name was on that list. I looked at the list of the NBA players eligible because of Hardaway. Yeah. He's way down the list. It says outside possibility. They have him listed in Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 categories. And in the NBA right now, there's 24 names in the Tier 1 that are possible Hall of Fame candidates someday when their careers end. Of course, we know one of them is LeBron James. And then Curry. There's like 8 or 9 of them.
Kevin Durant and all that.
But there's a bunch of them down there that I don't even know who they are, but they're listed on there because of their stats and stuff like that. And there's like 45 names on this thing, and half of them I didn't know who they were, but they all got Hall of Fame stats. I mean,
but Ilgauskas was on there.
He was on there, yeah. I remember seeing that.
Like he had the stat. I mean, Ilgauskas at his prime was. I mean, Shaq even said Ilgauskas was the toughest center he ever went up against in his career. I mean, Ilgauskas was very, very good. He didn't have those high-profile stats, but he had enough. I mean, to get his number retired and everything. And I know any team can retire any number, but there's even some stats of his LeBron didn't even touch.
They look at Hall of Fame. They look at, of course, your stats. They look at how many rings you got, and have you made it to the championship, how many All-Star games you was in. The only sport that don't really look at that, and if you really look at it is baseball.
Right.
You know how many greats are in the Hall of Fame that've never won a World Series?
A lot.
A lot.
Probably the majority.
Fergie Jenkins with the Cubs. Now the Cubs have won one, but not when Fergie was there.
No, when Fergie was.
Ted Williams of the Boston Red Sox never won a World Series. The greatest hitter probably of all times.
Right.
You know, baseball don't look at ring part of it. But then again, you got how many writers are, and they're elected by the baseball's Writers Association.
Right.
They're not elected by the players, or they're elected by the writers, and you have to have 75% of the vote. You know. And of course, you're getting guys that the steroid issue. We're talking, you know, the Clemens and the Sosas and the McGuires. They're getting votes, but you still got a lot of these guys out there that they don't like the idea of the steroids issue, you know.
Right.
So they don't vote, and they can't get their 75%. Of course, this year nobody got 75%. Kurt Schilling got 70%.
Yeah.
He missed it by 5%. Odds are he'll get the 75%
Yeah,
next year.
he'll be in.
And Omar Vizquel, he was at 62%. So you got to have 75%. You ain't getting in. Well,
And Omar's, you know, he's my favorite player, so I'm a little biased about the whole Omar thing. But in his case, it was the Golden Gloves, the steals.
well, he
he
deserves it.
He was a good overall. Yeah, and he will get in there, but he didn't have the home run numbers,
He
the
didn't have
RBI.
the numbers.
He had the hits. He had a lot of hits.
But he was like
But-
a human vacuum cleaner. There ain't nothing got up the middle.
Right,
you
and
know?
that's why we'll talk more about it in a little bit here. But we have a new shortstop in Cleveland, and their only comparisons are Omar Vizquel. That says something. So something's up there, and I guess we're gonna see it. But real quick before we get into baseball, because again we'll be talking a lot of baseball. We're gonna go right into it too. I know we split up some segments, but we got a lot of baseball to talk about. Nothing much going for the Browns now, except for happy birthday to Andrew Berry, the general manager, doing a heck of a job there. There's nothing much on the Jadeveon Clowney situation either. I guess they're going to be playing that by ear. It might be one of those things he doesn't get signed till after the draft too. So right now they're focusing on the draft.
Barry's doing a great job.
He is. He's doing a fantastic job. I know a lot of writers writing about the winners, losers of free agency. They have the Browns as winners the whole way. Actually, some of them said they moved up the rankings in preseason.
So the power ratings are fourth. They're fourth now in the power rating.
I think they moved up to 4. Yeah, just because they like what they did, and I do too. They spent their money wisely. They got the depth that they needed so far, but they're going to get more in the draft too. Like they didn't. That's it. They're going to be building more in the draft. But this year was a year that, okay, we need a little bit more out of free agency, then we're going to go in the draft. And then you're going to see them be a more heavy draft team, probably starting next year and going on further, especially when they're taking on more expensive contracts with Nick Chubb, Baker, and Denzel Ward coming up. They played their cards right at this time. But we do have a couple things to throw out there for the Browns, one of them being now all of a sudden their former head coach is running his mouth as in an attempt to come back to the NFL and clear his name.
Hugh Jackson.
I'm talking about Hugh Jackson, where supposedly he was wronged, lied to in the way that the Browns were going to set up the team for him, and it's it makes you wonder. But I mean, you knew there was some leadership issues with the Hugh Jackson era, and yeah, I'll be honest, and you may not remember. I don't know. When Hugh was hired, I thought they found their guy. I was sold on Hugh.
A lot of people thought that.
I liked him when he was in Oakland. The only reason he lost his job in Oakland was Davis died. His son took over. The team kind of fell apart near the end of the season for the Raiders, but that's because what they did was the Browns injured Jason Campbell, who was head to a Pro Bowl season, okay, who ended up joining the Browns a couple of years later. They trade for Carson Palmer. When you make a big trade at quarterback like that, that's going to derail the team a little bit because the chemistry's off. You know, you're putting a new man under center that doesn't know your playbook well. And when that happened, they lost games they should have won, and they missed it. They missed the playoffs by the game. As a result, Davis's son, I think, is it Junior? I forget even. He's a dick. He moved him to Las Vegas anyway. You know what I mean? He kind of just said, well, I want my guy. So he gets rid of the GM and the head coach. He brings in, the GM did all right at first, but the head coach did not do so well. It was an O coordinator for the Broncos at the time under
Yeah, I don't.
Kubiak.
I'll be honest with you, I know nothing about the Raiders. All I know
Really?
they built that brand new stadium out there, and nobody's yet been in it.
Right. There's going to be Indians fans that will be in it for before the Raiders got anybody in there. So that's kind of weird. But no, anyway, so Hugh is claiming that the Browns have been using analytics on the side
Right.
for some of their players' evaluation, that they actually used coaching versus analytics. If I'm remembering this interview right, he said instead of scouting with analytics, it was scouting versus analytics, and they were basically making mistakes on purpose, saying what they need to do to be successful in the future, this and that. That was his claim of the whole thing. He also, now this one was interesting. He got a 1-year extension during the 0-16 season.
I remember that, and everybody said, "Why? What are you giving this guy extension for?" I remember that one.
Right. But here's the bottom line too: is you can't say they didn't give the guy a chance. He went 1-31, and he kept his job because they said, "Look, we need to keep a system in place here," and then the system just did not.
If he felt that they weren't doing him right.
Right.
He should have resigned. He should have never got fired. He should say, "You guys ain't going to help me out. I'm leaving." I would have.
Well, you got to remember, too, he does eventually help him out. He brings in Dorsey. Dorsey made some good picks. He got him some good players. And then there was just all that kind of drama between him and Todd Haley that went in there.
Jackson brought in Dorsey?
No, Haslam brought in Dorsey.
Haslam brought in.
Yeah, but Dorsey's first offseason, Jackson was still head coach because they drafted Baker, and they got him Tyrod Taylor and everything, which was a big upgrade from Deshaun Kaiser at that time. But I think this whole situation, I mean, I've been in I know it's a way different situation. I've been there in life a couple of times, a couple of different employers where I got screwed over, and it's like at some point, what you got to say right there is, first of all, enough people know Hugh Jackson. He would get hired for something again. If he wants a head coach job, he needs to really, really apply himself in other positions and encourage him to do so. But my advice to him, too, and again, I'm not $1 million head coach in the NFL, but I have been in a somewhat similar situation. You go out there, you got to prove them wrong. They don't care. That's what it was. It's the man code. Work harder. Man don't care.
Jackson, I don't know. I don't think he knew how to handle the guys. How to talk to the guys.
Right.
I think he had a lot of. We never heard a lot of it, but I think there's a lot of problems within the locker rooms itself between the players and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And he didn't know how to do it. Of course, when we end up bringing Savansky in here, that's a completely different story.
Right.
These guys love him.
You know what? Let's talk about real quick the guy right before Stefanski, Kitchens. It was the same thing. He really, really didn't know how to handle them. He comes in there and everybody looked around and said, "This is a mistake. We cannot connect with this guy." It was bad. It was bad when you hear the ticket reps said we knew he was a bad choice 2 weeks in. That's the ticket reps.
Who's the guy before Kitchen, the intern that came?
That's Greg Williams.
I love that guy.
Yeah. Well, and I
thought he did a great job. They didn't give him a chance.
Then you look what he did in New York with the Jets, and everything. Like,
but the Jets,
I believe he's a good coach at heart.
But I believe the Jets have worse talent than we had.
Yeah, that's true too.
I mean, I think we were better. We were a better team.
Right. That's why, if you can remember, when they fired Hugh, they also fired Haley, because it came down to the story goes, when they were talking about it between Dorsey, DePodesta, and Haslam. And Haslam really didn't want to fire anybody at that time, but DePodesta and Dorsey were like, "Look, we got to make a move now. It makes sense. If you want to turn this team around this year, you got to make the move now. We can play better." And they need to get rid of Haley too, because it had something to do with it analytically, and it was I guess it was a mental thing too. I'm not 100% sure. I wasn't there, obviously. And Haley had a past where he kind of ran his mouth too when he was head coach of the Chiefs temporarily. And he also had beef with Ben Roethlisberger when he's with the Steelers. It was a whole. Haley's a good offensive mind, but he.
What's wrong with having a beef with Roethlisberger?
Well, he might get to your wife or whatever. I don't know. But that's that's another story for another time. But that's why they're like, look, Greg Williams, he's got the experience. He's more of a guy to chill and settle him down and get him refocused, and that's what he did, and he did a good job at that. He even brought up he called Kobe Bryant. A lot of people don't know this. Kobe Bryant was in the Browns locker room for one day for a meeting to talk to him about the Mamba mentality. Greg Williams hit him up and said, "Would you come up and talk to the guys for me?"
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he did.
I never heard that.
Yeah, he did. There's pictures and stuff you could see. They didn't say anything until actually when Kobe died, it got brought up, and they said, yeah. But Greg did do a good job. Unfortunately, again, after what happened in New York, New Jersey, whatever, with the Jets, he's gonna get another shot somewhere else. But I don't think it's gonna be head coach. So
I can see, to go back to Hugh Jackson, I can see him going to a college.
I keep preaching it. I keep telling. I think this guy would make a great college program,
especially like in the Mid American Conference or a smaller conference like that. Or, I don't know how great he'd be with we'll say the Big Ten or the Pac-10 or whatever, Pac-12 now I guess, but in like Mid American, those smaller conferences like that, I think he'd be a great coach.
I had friends that graduated from Akron that didn't like him in Cleveland and said if he ever took over the Akron job, we would have faith that he would turn around. Now I like the guy they have now. He's gonna get it now. He's getting his more of his players.
The kids this year are going to be the kids that he pretty much recruited.
Yeah, right.
The Bowden years are pretty much done.
Yeah.
I think there's one or two still left around in there, but most of these kids are his kids.
Right.
So we're going to know now. We're going to know here.
Right, and I have faith that. But I'm just saying, if Hugh were to take it over, there's people that are like, I would dig it. And I will tell you too, and I may have brought this up before on here, whatnot, but word got out around that offseason when the Browns hired Hugh Jackson, okay? The guy that was just hired from Tennessee, he was O-coordinator for Alabama. I can't think of his name. Begins with an S. Give me a sec here, because I want to get the folks at home this right here. I want to see if
I can't think of anybody who starts with an S.
Oh no, never mind. That it wasn't Tennessee. I bet you it was Texas.
Schauberger.
I'm gonna go because I want to get him right there. Steve Sarkisian. Okay, Sarkisian had a drinking problem and was fired from USC. He was drunk at practice and stuff. This was a very low point of his life. Now he's turned it around, and Texas feels good about bringing him in. And he did well in Alabama, too. He worked well with Saban and everybody out there. So when he got fired, they got an interim in, okay? And they had a meeting the athletic department did about their decision going forward with the football program. And they end up keeping the interim. He did good. Well, I should say, he did well enough where they decided that they were going to keep him in there. They did bring up, they said, if we don't want to keep this guy, who do we have? And the majority of the room voted, and they had connections to Hugh Jackson. They said, we'll get him out of Cincinnati, and we're going to bring him in here. He was set to be the USC coach, but the interim did so well, they were like, let's keep him here. Let's keep a steady program.
I believe Jackson would have been be a good college coach.
Right.
I really believe that.
I mean, and you look at some of these coaches now that are starting to have program, or people that didn't think about coaching greats in the NFL that are now starting college pro. I mean, even Herm Edwards' program is finally getting underway there in San Diego and everything. I mean, so it's a good possibility. I would encourage him.
I'm really looking forward to see how Myers does in Jacksonville. This is one of the best college coaches going out to the pros. I think this is his first attempt at the pros, right?
Right.
I mean, let's see how the transfer. Some guys don't transfer that well, that great.
They had an interesting free agency. They kind of overpaid for some players. They felt like, but they hit a lot of needs. I am shocked to see there's some mock drafts coming out with Zach Wilson from BYU going number 1 overall. That's not going to happen.
That's not going.
That's not.
It's pretty much Lawrence is going to Jacksonville.
That is,
and that's
right.
it.
Right. There's people trying to make something out of nothing and trying to make the big prediction, and it's like you're overthinking it.
I mean,
Lawrence is the guy. Urban Meyer said he wanted to coach Lawrence. It's done.
The only thing I got against Lawrence is he said he will not be there as a number 1 pick at the draft in Cleveland. He will not be there.
Right.
He's going to stay home, sit with his parents.
No, he's going to Clemson. He's
going to Clemson. Well, I know.
I think he's going to the university. I think he's going to be at the university.
He wanted to be with his dad and stuff.
Right.
Well, I mean, he could have brought his dad to Cleveland. What the heck?
I mean, Joe Thomas was fishing with his dad when he got picked.
Yeah, I know. They
Baker Mayfield was with his family, and they didn't even put cameras at the home when he got picked. Do you remember when they do the cameras at the home and they celebrate and they're crying and hugging? The Mayfield family did not put the NFL in their
if I wasn't going to be the number 1 pick, I'm being there for national audience to see me.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that was the is Baker was a highlight reel guy. He used to grab himself to look at the other team and whatnot. That was some of his trash talk there. And so he gets picked number 1 overall, and all they can do is talk about and show highlights because they can't show him. There's no cameras at the home. He did not show up for the draft. I don't even think he thought he was going to be number 1 overall, And I still stand by it, by the way. I think that was great. Obviously, Lamar Jackson wins MVP, but he went through some issues this year where Baker improved and progressed. Josh Allen's having a great career so far. That was a great quarterback class. Hey, it could have been worse. They could pick Josh Rosen. And that's...
we did pretty good.
Yeah, he's a great player. I like it.
He's proven... statistics shows he's... Like with Brady, his first 46 games. I mean, Baker's got better stats. First 46 games of his career, Baker's doing okay.
Baker went.
One thing I got against Baker is the height. I really believe that the linemen sometimes are taller than he is.
Yeah. But you look, Russell Wilson can win a Super Bowl with it. Drew Brees can win a Super Bowl. This guy can make it happen. And what I was more impressed with is middle of last year, if you can remember, early middle. He was one of the leaders, top 5 in interceptions. He became he went way down and just started throwing touchdown passes. I mean, he stepped in.
Well, like I said, he's good. But then he got probably the best running back core there is.
Right.
In the bag, I just give it to you. You go up to get him for me.
Exactly, and they're gonna keep utilizing that.
And they really improved their defense.
They did, and they're gonna improve it more in this draft.
And you and Chris will be talking that pretty soon.
Exactly. I need to. Maybe at break I'll go reserve my ticket. They are free. You can reserve your ticket for the draft by NFL One Pass app there. You can probably barely see it in the light there. But yeah,
you can go up there and watch it?
Yeah, you can go up there in person. And it's free. It's free. But they want you to reserve your spot. They want to make sure they don't overpopulate the area. It is the last weekend of April.
I won't be here. I'll be in Myrtle Beach golfing.
Oh, okay, so he's going to be nice warm Myrtle Beach. Ohio should be okay, Chad.
It should be okay. It should be in the 60s.
Right. I know the Cavs play that weekend at home. The Indians do not. So,
but that should be interesting. I mean, I was going to ask my daughter and son-in-law, when is the draft? Because I know Chris is coming in on that Wednesday before the draft. You guys are going to do the show.
The day before the draft, we're going to be talking. Yeah, because
the draft is Thursday?
The draft, first round is Thursday. That will probably be the only day I go up to. I probably won't go up to. We'll see how well it goes.
No, it's at First Energy, right?
Yeah, it's in the area of First Energy, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the Science Center. It's a whole, you can go.
But it's outdoors.
Yeah, it's outdoors. You can go into First Energy. They'll let people take field goals and stuff. Kick field goals.
I did hear you can kick field goals.
Yeah.
You gonna kick a 50-yarder?
Yeah, I'll try.
The Browns will sign you.
Maybe. They got Cody Parkey back. He did well last year. He really did. And so hopefully he can continue to do that this year. But yeah, so they're going to go in the draft, and we'll see what the Browns do there. It's good not to be a top 10 pick for once. It really is. And all that matters is you hit on the pick. That's all that matters.
I did see your Ohio boy had a good workout. Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. Yeah, actually, I was going to bring that up too.
Okay, we can do that after break. We got a break coming up.
We got a break in a minute, but I just want to bring up quick because we got to talk opening day, man. This is opening day edition. We got a lot of baseball to talk about.
Take me out to the ball game.
Justin Fields had a great workout. The big news in the draft, though, last week, 49ers trade up for the 3rd overall pick.
I did not hear that.
You did not hear that?
No.
Yes, they traded with Miami. They trade away this year's first and the next 2 first-round picks and a 3rd-round pick.
Well, I know San Francisco was down at that workout.
They claim it's not for a quarterback, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Okay.
They were at that workout because that was the first thing they reported, that San Francisco's GM and coach was at that workout for
Justin
Fields.
Fields there. We got to take a break, 5 minutes. We'll be right back. We're talking all baseball coming up. We're talking fantasy baseball. We're talking predictions. We're talking Tribe, because the Tribe is back tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Cleveland in Detroit. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
These blues. This morning the blues walked in like a man. All these blues. The blues walked in like a man. Worried blues. Give me your right hand. Oh, the blues is a low down and a shaking chill. Yeah, it's preaching now. If you ain't never had 'em, I hope you never will. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. When I preach these blues, You come on in, take your seat and sit on down. And if the spirit moves you, if the spirit moves you, and if the spirit moves you, Lord, if the spirit moves you, jump straight up and down. Let these blues is a low down and an aching heart disease. Yeah, these blues is a low down and an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing me 5 degrees. I can study the rain, or I drive my blues away. I've been studying the rain. I'm gonna drive my blues away. Going out to the distillery. Gonna stay out there all day. Up jump the devil.
Am I on?
Good.
I thought the music was supposed to start. We're on though. We're good.
We're good.
No,
We're
on,
we're
man.
on. We're on.
We flipped it tonight.
We fully flipped it there. All right. Oh, I got my lineups and my rotations ready for the projected lineups for the Major League Baseball season opening day. This is 10-Cent Beer Night, PalmerCityRecords.com sports show every Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on PalmerCityRecords.com from Akron, Ohio. Sets with Baseball Bob here, and what a great day for Baseball Bob, because this is
opening day tomorrow. Opening day.
Tomorrow. This is opening day eve.
Everybody opens
when
tomorrow.
all the kids go to sleep thinking of not reindeer but baseball bats and baseballs.
The only thing about opening day now, it to me is wrong, because it used to be traditionally opening day was in Cincinnati. And today they had their big parade down in Cincinnati, but they don't open until tomorrow.
Right.
But they used to have the opening day was always in Cincinnati. The first game of the year was always played in Cincinnati because of the first Major League professional team was in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they always open the first game of the year.
They always open the
But
now
not anymore.
Now everybody opens up the first game of the year.
Not anymore.
You want to start breaking down some teams, Bob, and start talking about them.
Breaking down some team. Well, we're going to talk. Let's talk Indians. I mean, that's.
You want to talk? We'll go jump to the Indians.
Let's go to the Indians first.
Let's go to the Indians first. Yeah,
because I know there were some things brought up to you, and of course the one thing you called me about and texted me about was the Bauer deal.
Right.
You know. Of course, he hit a home run yesterday in the last preseason game.
Let me actually. I'm going to open another link real quick so we can get all the Indian stuff. Now, this is the thing I brought up was just brief here, because I want to talk about the whole lineup there. And I thought the page I pulled up would do that, but it didn't.
I went last night trying to pull stuff up too, and nothing come up. And I do know that Terry Francona has not named a closer as of this morning.
He is not going to name
No,
one.
I think you're going to see who comes in.
That's what he said. He's playing it by ear right now.
I mean, a lot of people thought that Karachek would be your closer, but I guess he had a so-so spring.
Yeah, he kind of imploded a bit.
You know.
Here. By the way, real quick for all you Tribe fans, before people get confused and everything, when you tune into the game tomorrow, whether it is Indians or Cavs, the number of your channel will be the same, but it's going to be under Bally Sports Great Lakes now.
They changed from Sports Time Ohio.
Yeah.
Not,
And
yeah. So
Fox sold the rights. Even Fox Sports Ohio around here is not Fox Sports Ohio
No,
anymore.
no.
It's going to be Bally Sports. It's a casino company.
it's the same channel on your cable provider or your internet, their dish, whatever. I know I got Dish at home, and it's 662. They've been advertising it on there, so but I don't know what cable subscriber you got, but it'll be the same channel that you had.
Right. So that's just so.
And then, like I said, it's Fox Sports Great Lakes or Bally Sports Great Lakes, and then it's going to be Bally. I just seen that where the Reds will be on theirs,
Right.
the two separate ones. So
There you go. Okay, let's talk some Tribe here. They lead off tomorrow with Cy Young winner, reigning Cy Young winner Shane Bieber at the hill. He will be, of course, your number one starter. Going number 2 is going to be Zach Plesac.
well deserved.
Yep. Number 3 will be Aaron Savali, who had last year he had some great games and then he had some rough games, but he's got a lot of great talent. Number 4 will be Tristan McKenzie, who again has an injury past, but last year because there was no minor league baseball, skipped AAA, came up for the Indians and did really, really well.
And then besides Beaver, none of the other 4 starters have more than 25 starts as a starter.
Yeah, so
We're a very young core.
Yeah, but a very talented core. And the 5th one, coming away with the surprise, somebody I would not have said at when spring training first began, lefty Logan Allen has won.
He had a great spring.
He's won the 5th starting spot. For people that don't know Logan Allen, real quick breakdown, he has had some starting pitching experience. He was part of the Padres trade with the Reds, that 3-way trade with the Trevor Bauer, sent Bauer to the Reds, and then we got back Framil Reyes, Logan Allen, and a couple other pieces.
Good move, and I think he's going to be a very good 5th man for us.
They said his slider and his velocity's just improved. Both of them have. He's looked really good. He won the spot there. For the rest of the bullpen here, Emmanuel Clace, they got out of the key piece of the Corey Kluber trade. He will be one of those options for closer and setup man there. You got James Karinchak, who will also be an option for closer, setup man. Where number 99, people are starting getting into the nickname Wild Thing after Rick Wild Thing Vaughn from the movie Major League. He throws hard, very tall, lean, strong farmer boy, but he can strike you out too. Like, a little bit of a rough spring training, but he'll get together. A guy I like a lot, and I know you do too, Bob, Phil Maton made the team.
Maton, I like the kid.
He underrated. He's got a lot of great movement on his off-speed
Another
pitches.
young kid that we're loaded. We got half our squad, majority of our squad's under 25 years of age.
Right, and a lot of them came from the Padres,
Padres,
including Maton. He was cut. Indians picked off waivers, said, "Oh, we'll take him because we'll know how to use him correctly." So there you go. Oliver Perez is back. He's probably almost 40, and he's back, but he's done nothing but well for the Indians.
I always liked him, even when he was here with us the first time.
There you go. Cal Quantrill will be the long reliever. He was the one. He didn't make quite the 5th spot of the rotation, but he does pretty well on the bullpen too. People have compared him to Indian starter Zach Plesac. Trevor Stephan also made the team there, and it doesn't. Okay, there's one name missing here on the file. Brian Shaw made the team.
Yeah.
Veteran there. Nick Wickren's the other arm in there. He's going to be another option for the closer role as well. So not bad bullpen. A little underrated. People don't give him enough credit. But our pitching...
Well, our pitching is going to keep us in the games.
Right.
I mean, it's as simple as that. I'm worried about the hitting.
Yeah. And
know.
we're about to get there right now.
Yep.
There you go. We're going to start with catcher Roberto Perez, who we know he's our...
And of course your backup catcher Hedges, and neither of them batted over 150.
No, Hedges has power. Perez really fell off the map hitting last year. But defensively, both are...
Oh, defensively, they're both great.
Right there, superb.
I mean, they're two guys that, if you ain't worried about the bat and catchers, you want them behind the plate.
Right.
Because they both can control a pitcher, and there ain't nothing getting by them.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hedges was part of the Mike Clevenger trade last year. Still, again, a lot of power, not as much contact and average, but that hopefully will change in due time. For the infield, you're starting second baseman, Gold Glover returning. Cesar Hernandez is back. Great contact
I'm glad they signed him.
Right.
1 year? Was it
It's 1 year with a team
with the option?
Yeah, with the
option next year.
yeah.
Yeah. At least we got him at least for another year.
Yeah.
So
There you go. Oh, your third baseman, the best hitter on the team, Jose Ramirez, who's been to 3 MVP finalists. I expect another great.
I mean, not of American League will go not probably one of the best third basemen, but probably one of the best hitters in the American League third bases.
Exactly. Then you got Andres Jimenez, who will be the new shortstop for the Indians going forward. He's part of the Francisco Lindor trade there. A lot of guys say his glove is like Omar. Good contact.
Good comparison.
Yeah. I mean, if that's true, then that's fantastic. He's actually going to pull Kevin Love. He's going to wear number 0, not 13. Even though 13 should be Omar's number anyway, just so you know. But Jimenez, young kid, 22 years old, great contact bat, but he needs to still just get plenty of time at the plate and get up to speed. But they said he can hit the ball, he can get on base, but he's will be more just like Omar, a bottom of the order type of hitter. And Omar eventually moved up and down depending on the team and who was on it there. Ahmed Rosario, a shortstop and also outfield. You're going to see him do a lot of center field reps, also part of the Francisco Lindor trade. Bats right, a great athlete, but very inconsistent player. His development has kind of dwindled a bit. Probably that's why he was kind of thrown into the trade there, but also gave Indians a veteran option to put in on the roster now. A guy that I like personally, he's got underrated power. He's a decent fielder. He can play all the positions on the infield. Yu Chang made the team.
You're good, yeah.
He's a good player.
A good player.
Pretty much locked his position when Mike Freeman was traded. These guys are mentioned more in the outfield, but for the first base option, of course, Jake Bauers there.
Bauer's going to start, I guess.
He's going to start at first base.
To start tomorrow's first base. I know a lot of people. And here's one of them. You know why you sent Bradley down?
Right.
You know, or
Bobby. That was Bobby Bradley.
Bobby Bradley. You know, and it all comes down to it's a business thing.
Right.
And I hate to say it that way. You know, it was a business thing. But Bradley's going to be there. He's going to go down there and he's going to play. Odds are they're going to platoon these guys anyway.
Right.
Yeah, first base. He'll be playing down. Of course, they don't start for another month yet. The minor leagues don't start for another month in May.
Right.
But he's going down there and he's going to play, and he'll be ready to be called up if Bauer's bat does not come alive. You know, I think Bauers will be a decent first baseman. I'm not saying he's going to be a great first baseman,
Right.
but he just got a weak bat. You know, we need a bat. We need a bat there.
He's got power, but he doesn't have. It's like similar to the Roberto Perez thing I was explaining there too.
He's not no consistency whatsoever.
Right. And the big point I made is last year. You know, we had the COVID year. They opened more roster spots. Minor leagues were down in Lake County. You know, Bauers was on the roster, but he never was on the team.
Right.
He didn't play at all last year. He was down in Lake County the whole time.
He was on the 40-man roster.
Right, he was on the
40. 28 up here, but you know the other down. He went to the whatever camp they called where they over at East Lake. Where the captains play.
Yeah.
The off season site or whatever.
Right.
Where they
would scrimmage and practice
kept loose to be called in case they got called up. But it was a business thing. I mean, personally, you know, he had no more options, and they would have released him or put him on waivers per se. If nobody would have picked him up, what likely wouldn't have happened. Cleveland would have had to give him the $2 million, whatever.
Yeah.
They'd have to give it to him. So it was a business thing, and they said, "Well, we're giving this guy $380,000. We'll send him to the minors. He'll be ready. We'll keep this guy up here, let him play, try to get see what we can do. Hopefully, and I'm hoping that he comes out of it, and plays good. You know, but he's out of options, so."
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, I wish it will, but it's like
I'm
looking
hoping
where he was 2 years ago.
I mean, I might be wearing a Reds thing here, and I work for the Reds, okay? I'll be honest with you. I work for the Reds, but my heart's in Cleveland. I grew up and everybody knows that. I grew up in Cleveland. I've seen the losing years. I've seen the winning years. And I just hope that the Bauer it works out. I just hope Terry can and they can get him straightened out. Hitting to me is going to be their problem. You know, you got Reyes, of course, the DH. You know, he has his days too. You know, he tends to strike out some.
Right. With Bowers though, 2 years ago, like his biggest highlight was he hit for the cycle. He's the last Indians player to do that since Rajah Davis. Other than that, he just didn't show up. But again, he didn't play last year, so I was always kind of iffy on it. What happens. You got a long season, but he will be the first. He'll be a first base outfield option. The other first base option on this team, who's also in the outfield, is Josh Naylor, who was a big bat during the playoffs against the Yankees. Again, last season didn't really show up, but the Tribe knew that he had a lot of power. That's why they got him out of the Clevenger trade. He's also the brother of catching prospect.
Our number one pick.
Yeah, Naylor.
2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago or last year?
It was like between first and second round. Bo Naylor, yeah.
He's
or Noah Naylor, however you want. Both are right. They call him. But I guess Bo's his nickname. He goes, but Noah's his real name. Kind of like Coco Crisp. You know, Kova Lee was his real name, but they went by Coco. That's his brother, though, and I think he's going to start in AAA too. If I'm not.
I think they sent him to AAA camp.
Yeah, he did really well in the spring. They liked what they saw.
So we won't see him in Akron.
So yeah, he skipped Akron. Yeah, he went from single A to AAA just like that. But my thing with Josh Naylor is I like him better.
What's that telling you right there? We want to get him ready because our two guys we got up here ain't hitting. If we got to bring up a catcher, you know, if one of them gets hurt, he's going to have to come up.
Right. They did waive Bo Taylor too.
Yeah, I did see that.
It's looking like Bo Naylor might be the guy if anybody gets hurt. Josh Naylor, my only issue with him is I like the guy, getting a lot of power. If he can get it all together, he's going to be a great player. They have him on right field right now starting. They did it a lot in the spring, test him out there. I like him at first. He's a big guy. He's kind of slow. I like your outfielders kind of fat with at least some wheels, just in case, you know, something gets hit hard.
I can see him at first eventually. Especially him and Bauer are going to be rotating at first base.
Right. So, and they both hit lefty, so it's not going to be a pitching thing too. The other guy, this guy, a veteran, made the team, and it's going to be very interesting to see what he's going to bring to the table. Ben Gamel.
I love the kid.
You know, he can play center, left, right. He can play it all.
He's a veteran, but I'm going to call him a kid because he's like 30. I mean, he's still a kid to me.
Decent contact bat. Yeah. It was just a last-second free agent find they had before spring training, but he made the team. He's going to be a backup off the bench there. He mentioned Franmil Reyes, who will be your starting designated hitter. He can also play right field, though. I'm looking forward to Franmil play, man. When he is on, he reminds me of Frank Jackson. Thomas.
Frank Thomas.
Yeah, when he's on, when he's playing really well, he can hit for both average and power, but he does have his slumps. It's a long season, but he can hit it out. A lot of people, before the COVID took out the original open day last year, a lot of analysts had Franmil on their top 10 potential MVP candidates because they said this guy could break out and tear it up at any point, you know. So we'll see there. Another guy we have yet to mention, but one of their biggest pickups of the offseason was Eddie Rosario, their left fielder. That's going to be a key player there for their hitting. I know the hitting, it looks so right now. Again, the season has started in the spring training. It's a whole different story. But there's a lot of great contact on this team. But Rosario's got a mix of both. He's got great contact, great power, and he's no longer a thorn in the side of the Indians. He hopefully will be a thorn in the side in the Minnesota Twins,
right.
And everybody else to go along with them.
At least the Central.
Right. On paper, how are you feeling going into tomorrow?
Well, I think with Shane Bieber on the mound, I just can't see Detroit. I think he'll handle Detroit. Right. We always handle
Detroit's
Detroit.
A young team.
They're a young team. They're probably It's going to be them in Kansas City battling for the basement
Right.
of the Central. They're a young team. I mean, there's. I mean, I think the Indians have come out of this series pretty good. They're playing tomorrow, then they're off Friday.
All right, like everybody else
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
And of course, I can see. I hate to say this. I can see the game being postponed tomorrow. I can see it.
For what? Is there weather coming?
Well, they're calling for rain and 36 degrees in Detroit. They're calling for that here in Ohio.
Right.
And we're getting that front coming in. And then Saturday and Sunday in the 50s and 60s and sunny.
What
So-
a disappointment.
So I can see that happening. You know, we'll wait and
Suppose the
see
rain
that.
can hold off a few hours.
Well, I think the game's at 1:15.
110, something
110,
like that. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But I know a lot of. I'm one of those ones. Why are we playing teams from our area? Why ain't the southern teams why ain't the northern teams going south or west and playing to start the seasons off? They know it a couple years ago. Well, it's been like more than a couple. Remember we got snowed out in Cleveland,
Right.
and we ended up playing the home game. We had to go to Milwaukee and play it. You know, this area. You know, I don't understand why they do this. And then of course you got Arizona opening in L.A. And why ain't the Mets in Arizona and the Cubs in L.A. to start off?
It's been starting to get a little bit better. I noticed the Indians were more out west for the past couple of years. Before last year, I should say.
I mean, I know you want to start they try to start out, you know, your divisional team because we got Detroit, and then we come home for our home openers against
Kansas City. Yeah, Kansas City.
and then Detroit comes into town. Why are we playing? We're playing Detroit 6 games in the first 9.
Right.
You know, I don't understand that logic, but. And it's all here, you know. Why ain't we playing south when we know the weather's going to be a little better?
It's a good question. I don't have all the answers. I wish I did.
And you got both Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay's opening with God, another southern team down there. Why ain't like Cleveland going to Tampa Bay or you know? I don't understand the scheduling, but it's it is, and let's just you got to win the games no matter where you're playing, how the weather is and stuff. But I look for tomorrow. Personally, they're calling for rain, possibly mixture with snow tomorrow in Detroit. So I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping it ain't canceled because I want to watch it, but you know I look for it to be postponed. So.
Well, that just didn't make me feel good at all. Like what you just told me.
I mean, I'm looking at the weather for. Go to your weather forecast in Detroit tomorrow.
I don't want to go into the weather forecast at Detroit. Let's just keep talking baseball. We'll let the weather happen tomorrow. Okay. So we'll get to predictions. Well, we were talking about the Indians real quick. Let's jump. Okay. Fantasy baseball. I know you don't play it.
I don't play it.
You've played fantasy football before, okay? Basically, what I'm going to ask you here, and you don't need to be a fantasy baseball analyst to answer this question here. Who would you take on the Indians, and who wouldn't you take? Like who would you?
If you want me to be honest, of course I would take your third baseman, Ramirez.
Jose Ramirez.
Because, you know, I would take him. Of course, I definitely wouldn't take Bauer, but we're going to leave Bauer out of this one. I probably wouldn't take the new shortstop we have right now.
You would?
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No.
Okay.
Personally, that's my opinion, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope the kid can.
Right. I forgot to mention too. Jordan Lupolo's on the team, a specialty against left-handed pitchers.
Yeah.
So he'll be on there too. So for some reason he was not listed on the official website. That bothers me. What do they know that we don't know?
But out of the Indians guys, of course, my number one pick would be Jose.
Jose.
Yeah, Ramirez.
Now what about Shane Bieber?
Oh,
this is
I
all
thought you
players.
were talking all players.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely Beaver.
It's just different calculations and points. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Definitely Beaver would be my first pick, and then probably Jose.
Yeah. I actually had a team. I did that. I have 4 teams, and one of them at Bieber was the first pick.
Yeah.
And then
I thought you
Jose.
meant you're going position players.
All of them.
No.
all
Okay.
Of them
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
are-
Beaver. Yeah.
I think going in for fantasy, for the, specific to talk about the Indians, Cesar Hernandez is a decent player for getting hits. There, he's
Well, he led the leagues in doubles during the 60-game season last
when
year.
he was with Philly, he was a great fantasy player because he gave you a hit or 2 each game. So he's been there.
That's another one that you would take if he's available.
Jose, I would take, obviously. Eddie Rosario, too, is a popular name, too, in fantasy right now. Just somebody that's been consistently good. He can hit balls out of the ballpark and get runs in and everything. Franmil Reyes, I would think about if you're looking for a power option, too. He can hit the ball.
He can hit the ball. I mean, he has his days.
I would say Shane, Bieber, Plesac, Savelli, for sure. If you needed a late rotation pitcher, go try out McKenzie and Al. I mean, it usually works out well for fantasy players. There.
See, McKenzie scares me. I know he's 100 mile an hour, but he's still working on control.
Right.
You know,
He's frail too.
Yeah. I mean, and he's been injured. He has been injured, but he also, like I said, no control. Last year, his strike ball ratio was pretty close to one another. I mean, he throws 100 miles an hour. Yeah, most guys are going to be going after it.
Right.
But he's another year or two. This guy is going to be awesome.
Right. You
know.
But it's
He's
an
a young
idea.
kid.
Right.
Yeah.
If you need some more pitchers at the low end of fantasy, those are ideas there. James Karachek might not be a bad idea. He will get the innings, and he can get some saves. He can get strikeouts too. Players to avoid on the Indians: Roberto Perez for fantasy. Yeah. Don't. I know catchers in fantasy are hard. They don't hit what they used to. They really don't. So you got to get what you can get. Andres Jimenez, like you were saying, it might be too much a risk. Josh Naylor might be a risk right now. It's too many strikeouts and whatnot. And I would say same thing with Bowers too. Other than that, we pretty much listed what to expect from Indians fantasy wise. What kind of season do you think we're having here?
I see us winning 85 in that area. I see it going 500. You know, I'm picking them third in the division.
Right. They don't get a wild card spot.
No.
Even with the extra.
No wild card this year. No wild card. I look for if you want to be technical about it, I'm looking for the White Sox to win the division.
There you go. We'll talk about the White Sox here in a bit. We're gonna go break down TT, but for my prediction for the Indians, I'm gonna say they're going to surprise some people. 85 to 90. With they have extra playoff spot, they're gonna take one of those. You know, I think Minnesota disappoints some people, but I do think White Sox are favored for the division this year. But I think the Tribe's hitting so to be a little better than people think. I know last year was iffy. They went in the playoffs really hurting themselves. I think some of those younger guys
Whites have made some good moves in this offseason.
Right.
So
you want to stay within the division?
Let's stay within the division right now.
Okay, let's talk about the Chicago White Sox real quick. They have a good roster going in. However, I want to bring up something. They got a crucial injury happen to them. Okay. Eli Jimenez is out for almost the whole season. That's a 30-some home run hitter, 280-some average player. That's a big loss to the White Sox. Going into this season, Yasmani Grandal will be their catcher. MVP Jose Abreu will be the first baseman. At second base, Nick Madrigal. He came into spring training late. He had an injury. He's supposed to be a very good contact hitter. Third baseman, a guy I like personally, Jan Moncada, a power hitting switch hitter, had COVID last year, set him back. He wasn't the same player now. This year he's going to go in. At left field, it's probably going to be Andrew Vaughn or Adam Engel since Eli Jimenez is out. At center field, Lewis Robert. He's kind of been up. They have Billy Hamilton though, a guy that the
Indians let him go.
The Indians let him go there.
And you know what? I know he really he didn't really hit for the spring, but the guy's got some speed, man.
Right.
I mean, he'd be the guy that I'd want to bring in there for a base runner. And need a stolen base. I mean, this guy's quick.
Right.
I wish Billy. I watched him in Cincinnati. I wish him the best.
Right. At starting pitcher, Lucas Galito.
Galito.
Yep, Dallas Keuchel, Lance Lynn, Dylan Cease, and Carlos Rondon. They are expected to be a rotation to compete against the Indians in that one. Liam Hendricks will be their closer there.
And he's one of the best.
There you go. So you like this team on paper?
On paper, I like this team. I think they're the best team in the Central.
They're the best team in Central. If you're a fantasy owner, who do you go after here?
Oh, of course, Abreu.
Abreu, I like it too.
Yeah.
I have a couple teams that have him too.
And I would go after Hendricks as your relief pitcher. He's going to give you some. He's going to give you some points.
Yeah, he will there. I forgot to mention Tim Anderson, one of the most consistent shortstops in the game. I don't know how I skipped over him. Yeah, I would say Abreu. I'm going to say Moncada. If he could get back up to speed, the COVID thing set him back last year. He's a good option. Tim Anderson's a safe option. Lewis Robert can get you some stolen bases, get you some hits when he's healthy there. You got Adam Eaton at right field. I'm not sure, but I do like Hendricks there. Galito, Keuchel, maybe Lance Lynn if he's still his old self. He did show it last year that he was good. Guys to stay away from Carlos Rondon. He kind of gets lit up at times.
Yeah.
Be cautious with Nick Madrigal because he has great potential, but again, he just within the past week and a half joined the White Sox in spring training. He has not had much spring training since. He was kind of hurt, so that was kind of, that's just such a risk there. We're going to go on to not Milwaukee, Minnesota.
The one that gave us trouble last year.
Well, yeah, they gave a lot of people trouble. At catcher, Mitch Garver, great power hitting guy. He was an all-star in Cleveland a couple of years ago. Not for the Indians, but in Cleveland when the all-star game was there. He got kind of banged up last year and wasn't himself. For at first base, Miguel Sano. At second base, Jorge Polanco. Third base, Josh Donaldson. At shortstop, Andrelton Simmons. Great contact hitter.
Nice kid.
Left field, Jake Cave and Luis Arias
Yeah.
will rotate there. Center field, Byron Buxton. Right field, Max Kepler. Designated hitter turning 40, Nelson Cruz. Your starting pitching consists of Kenta Maeda, Jose Barrios, Michael Pineda, J.A. Happ, Matt Schumacher, and their closer is Alex Colomé. Or how do you think about the Minnesota Twins here going in?
They're gonna be okay. Of course, I was always a Cruz fan. I'll be honest with you. I always liked Cruz. I know he's 40 years old. I think he's starting his I think it's 18th, 17th,
Something like that.
18th game.
His late 30 seasons have been better than any of the seasons.
Well, yeah,
he
he had a great year last year.
I should say, yeah.
I think he batted .303 last year.
He was up for
39
MVP for a while, yeah.
I mean, if you're a fantasy kid, you at least want to take him. I mean, he's gonna be more of a DH.
Yeah.
But you definitely
You can put him at utility. Yeah, they do DHs in there.
Yeah, he'll play some spots at utility, but he'd mostly be a DHer for them. But I like the guy. I mean, I'd take him on a fantasy team any day.
There you go. Anybody else you want to circle there for?
No, not really.
Not really there. For me personally, you could take a chance on Mitch Garver.
Well, you know what? Yeah, Garver.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking
Because with catchers, it's again they don't hit like they used to.
They don't hit like they used
so
to.
It's hard to find who's going to be the fantasy catcher to come out on top. The other ones, Donaldson, it's going to be a hit or miss. I'm not saying right away take it, but if you need a power hitter, you need a third baseman or somebody to fill that first third spot. Donaldson could be it there. Max Kepler could come in through. I will say Simmons, their new shortstop, is a great contact hitter, and he's come through for infield for fantasy before. A lot of people think, though, he's going to go down in production a little bit. Jorge Polanco, they think, is going to be a slugging short and second baseman there in this league. I actually like their pitchers better in Maeda and Barrios and maybe Pineda. Pineda got in some trouble last year.
He got in trouble, but he'll be okay.
Yeah, if he comes out healthy, that's a great pickup. If you pick him up in the late rounds there. Colomé, it's one of those hit or miss things. Like, he could get you some points. Minnesota's had some iffy problems with closers within the past few years. It's just Joe Nathan left the game.
Yeah, their starting pitching is usually will be pretty decent. It's their middle and their closure where the problem's going to be with them. They're going to need a lot of innings out of their starters.
Right, they definitely will. So we'll see what happens there. So where you have them second in the
I
division?
got them second in the division.
Over the Indians here. So we'll see. A very talented group. I actually think Jake Cave's a little underrated. A decent bat there, great pull hitter. But we'll see what happens with Minnesota there. We got only a minute left, and then we'll keep on this rundown going when we come back. But other than Bob's weather report, I'm really excited for tomorrow. And we'll see, So when we do come back to, we're also going to be talking about the Reds. We got to give the Reds some love. So we're going to talk about every team. We're going to break down every team there. Give us 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back here on 10 Cent Beer Night. We got a lot of baseball to talk about. Stay tuned.
I got the Reds losing.
These blues. This morning the blues walked in like a man. All these blues. The blues walked in like a man. Worried blues. Give me your right hand. The blues is a low down and a shaking chill. Yeah, it's preaching now. If you ain't never had 'em, I hope you never will. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. And if the spirit moves you, if the spirit moves you, and if the spirit moves you, Lord, if the spirit moves you, jump straight up and down. Let these blues is a low down and an aching heart disease. Yeah, these blues is a low down and an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing me by degrees. I can study the rain, oh, I drive my blues away. I've been studying the rain, I'm gonna drive my blues away. Going out to the distillery, gonna stay out there all day. Up jump the devil.
And welcome back to the last half hour, 10-Set Beer Night here on PalmerCityRecords.com. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
And there we go. We were just talking about the American League Central. We talked about Indians, how we felt about them, White Sox and Twins. Now we got to move on to the team that the Indians will play tomorrow, the Detroit Tigers. Here's a quick rundown. Catcher Wilson Ramos. At first base, Nico Goodrum. Miguel Cabrera will be designated hitter. At second base, Jonathan Scope. At third base, Jeimer Candelario. At shortstop, Willie Castro. At left field, Robbie Grossman. At center field, Jacoby Jones. Right field, Victor Reyes. Designated hitter, former Ranger Nomar Marza. Starting pitching, and this is where it really hurts them bad. Matthew Boyd, Spencer Turnbull, Julio Terrian, Tariq Skubal, Jose Urena. And then at closer, you got Gregory Soto, who I think used to be an Indians prospect.
He was in the minors, Indians minor league.
Yeah. He was, if I'm correct, he was originally with the Tigers. They traded him for Johnny Peralta, and then the Indians cut him or something, or trade him for cash consideration.
Yeah, it was something like that. But
Yeah.
he at one time he was in our farm system.
There you go.
I think he was in Akron at one time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Bob, how do we feel about Detroit?
Starting pitcher, I would leave alone. If you got fantasy,
Yeah.
leave him. You don't want to.
Yeah.
Guy in fantasy I like is of course he's a veteran, old timer.
Miguel Cabrera.
Cabrera. I can never pronounce his name.
Which kind of shocks because he's not been a good fantasy player for the past 3 years.
I know,
So
but
it's-
I just like the guy. I would take him. I'm not saying I'd play him and start him every game, but but I like the guy.
There you go. A couple to also mention there.
But
Robbie Grossman. I didn't know he was on that team. He can hit for some
Grossman
average.
could be a good pickup if you pick him up
Yeah.
in fantasy. I got them finishing last. I got Kansas City beating them in the division.
There you go.
Because of their pitching staff, they have nothing.
Another guy I want to throw out there too. If you need a late infielder, shortstop Willie Castro hits for good
Castro
average.
hits
Used to be with the Akron Rubber Ducks. He was traded for what's his name? He plays in Japan now. Leonidas Martin.
Martinez.
Yeah.
Something like
Which
that.
ends up I think the Tigers won that trade now that the Indians have traded Lindor. I want to give Jimenez a chance, don't get me wrong, but Castro is a good contact hitter. The only thing I don't like is when I was with the Rubber Ducks suit and he smacked my beak so I couldn't see. That was a true story, yes. So he did that, and all the players laughed, but then I couldn't see, almost fell down the stairs. I was like, He was a joker. He's a good guy, though. But that's all I got for Detroit. Really, stay away from most of that team.
Well, did you walk by him when he was out in the field
No,
and his bill of his hat?
I should have.
You should have.
But they probably would have fired me. So there you go. We're going to move on to the Kansas City Royals now. Royals are in a weird spot because they got some good young prospects up. It's just getting them to develop and play. So here's a quick rundown. At catcher, Salvador Perez. At first base, ooh, this hurts, Carlos Santana. At second base, Whit Merrifield. Third base, Hunter Dozier. Shortstop, Alberto Mondesi. Left field, Andrew Benintendi. At center field, Michael Taylor. At right field, Kyle Isbell. Designated hitter will be Jorge Soler. Your starting pitchers, Brad Keller, Mike Minor, Brad Singer, Danny Duffy, and Jacob Junis. Your closer will be Greg Holland. How do you feel about the Royals here?
Pitching's going to be pretty decent. Their starting pitching's they're not compared to us or the White Sox pitching, but they're going to be they're going to be in some games. I look for them. Like I said, I'm picking them fourth in the division, behind the Indians. I look for them to go anywhere 75, 80 games, wins. I like Whit Merriweather. I like him. You know, if you're going to go fantasy, I'd take him.
Right.
But pitching wise, they got a pretty good pitching staff. Their bullpen is going to be so-so.
Right.
The starters are pretty decent.
Right there.
I like Duffy.
I like, if you want to talk about players, I like there's Brad Keller and
good.
Brady Singer. Singer showed a lot of great potential last year. Great lefty pitcher. Gave the Indians even a hard time.
Like I said, their starters are going to be decent.
Right. But Singer's kind of like their up-and-coming guy. Similar to the Indians, I would say, I won't say McKenzie. Maybe there's Zach Plesac in a way. Like, this guy's going to come in, you know, he's going to do some good, play well. Jorge Soler's got some good power. He's pretty consistent, too. Salvador Perez has always been a solid choice for catcher for fantasy. Santana's hit or miss because he just did not show up last year.
I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't take him.
No.
I would not.
That would be one guy I would
avoid.
avoid.
I might, if I had him and you wanted him, I'd trade for you. I'd give you a trade.
Whit Merrifield is pretty much the top 25 fantasy player.
I like that guy.
Great hitter. The only thing I will say about him, and it probably won't change the way because it's different in baseball, he might be a trade candidate going to the deadline this year, but we won't hear about that for another few months.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure his contract's up.
Right.
So I look for I can see a trade coming.
There. I think Hunter Dozier is a quality player. He just did not do so well last year. A short season, you got to give a little leeway, but I think he's got a lot to offer there. Other than that, I mean, not too much. Andrew Benintendi might get a turnaround, like one of those chances, like the second chance for the player. He turns it around and makes him look better, kind of like what Brandon Phillips did with going to the Reds from the Indians. We'll see. I won't say bank on that. But we'll other than that, that's the Kansas City Royals for you there.
Well, there's a guy I liked, Phillips.
There you go. It'll be easier. Can we go into city order now for the rest of them instead of division?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
That'll be interesting. You know, we'll start with Arizona Diamondbacks now. At catcher, Carson Kelly. First base, Christian Walker. Second base, Josh Rojas. At third base, Eduardo Escobar. Shortstop, Nick Ahmad. Left field, David Peralta. Center field, Ketel Marte. Right field, Cole Calhoun. At start pitcher, Madison Bumgarner. Zach Gallen. Caleb Smith. Luke Weaver. Morelli Kelly. And at closer, Jakeem Soria. This is a team rebuilding. They're working out some kinks. How do you think Arizona fits in the NL West there?
They're going. I got them. Where you at here? There. I went over this last night. I got them third in the West.
Really? You think
behind the Dodgers and the Dodgers and the Padres?
So you think they'll do better than Colorado and
Yes.
San Francisco
Yes.
there? Okay.
Yes.
Who do you like on this team if we're talking fantasy here? Like if you were to pick up anybody?
I like the. I just had it here because I got them wrote down here. Marte.
Yeah, Ketel.
I like him. A nice second baseman, and I like the pitcher. I want Baumgartner.
There you go.
From all the years he had good years in San Francisco.
Yeah, Bumgarner. He's a good player. He's going on to the deep end there.
Yeah, I still like the guy.
Yeah. Oh, you can still like him.
I would take a chance on him. Let's put that away.
There you go.
You know, I'll put a chance on him. I mean, he's old.
Shortstop Nick Ahmad's actually a popular pick in fantasy. They think that he's going to be like a solid contact hitter.
You could have him.
Get Left fielder David Peralta was actually a decent player the past couple of years. We'll see how good. They also have Asdrubal Cabrera on their bench. The other guy I'm going to mention, I don't think he'll do anything. He's kind of fallen off the map, but Luke Weaver was a solid fantasy player for the Cardinals a few years ago. Now he just hasn't been the same since that one good season. Other than that, there's not much I would take here. I hope you're right. I have family down in Arizona. I've always kind of liked the Diamondbacks. I hope they can figure something out there.
I really believe the Diamondbacks will be a third player. I think that personally, the two best teams in the National League is the Dodgers and the Padres.
Well, we're going to talk about another one right now. The Atlanta Braves, who went to the NL conference, NLCS, last year. Quick rundown: catcher Travis d'Arnaud, first baseman Freddie Freeman, and second baseman Ozzie Albies. At third base, Austin Riley. They also had Pablo Sandoval on the bench. I didn't know he was still playing. At shortstop, Dansby Swanson. Left field, Marcel Ozuna. At center field, Christian Pak. At right field, Ronald Acuna. At starting pitcher, Charlie Morton's now with that team. Max Fried, Ian Anderson, Drew Smiley. Starting injured, he's going to come back soon, will be Mike Soroka. And at closer will be Will Smith or Chris Martin there. This is a very talented Atlanta team. Who do you like?
I like them all. I mean, it's good. It's a good team.
It's a good team.
It's a good team. I mean, it's hard to pick any of them. I like the guy that's injured right now.
Soroka.
I like him. I'd take him on fantasy. But like I said, if he's injured right now, any dates he's coming back? They give any when he's coming back?
I'll pull that up right now. Of a late start to the season, continues his rehab, builds his pitching count. He threw 2 innings, so he hasn't even. Let's see, he's on the 10-day injured list. He's recovering from right Achilles surgery, so it might be a month. You can take injured players on and put on their injured list, though.
I'll go with the second baseman too.
Albies,
yeah, I'll go with him.
I will say most of this team I would go for. Freddie Freeman, obviously one of the best hitters.
One of the best,
game.
yeah, he's good.
Ozzie Albies. See, second base.
They got a very good team.
Yeah, second base is tough in fantasy too because you either get a good contact hitter or you get a good power hitter or you don't get a good hitter at all. It's like kind of one of those weird, like it's not as mixed up as other positions. Albies has some great power and great contact both. They think this is going to be a potential great breakout year for him there. Marcel Acuna's got a lot of power there. Of course, I'm a big fan of Ronald Acuna. Just great overall player. One of the most total players in the game. He can steal base for you, hit your home runs, hit your runs in, hit for average, you name it. I would take any of their first 5 starters too.
So I see your starting lineup for your fantasy team is all Braves. I see that.
Well, I got Acuna on one team. I have Albies on one. I was not able to pick up Freeman this year. I do have Max Fried and Ian Anderson on.
How many teams you own?
I got 4.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. I would take any of their starters though. I would say even draft Soroka just to reserve him and put him on your injured list because when he comes back he'll be good. But
I mean, a lot of people about Major League, because I'm involved in Major League, don't mean I really follow.
Right.
My job is to get the kid there, and then I'm done with them.
Then you're done.
You know, I'm done with them. You know, but I see a lot of high school and college kids. I'll tell you what. Next week's show, we're going to talk colleges, and I'll bring you up some great prospects.
There you go. I love
it.
Do the Braves win the East?
Braves will win the East.
Braves, I agree. Braves win the East.
Braves win the East.
We're going to talk about a very sorry team now. The Baltimore Orioles. At catcher, Pedro Severino. At first base, Ryan Mountcastle. At second base, Pat Falacchia. At third base, Mikael Franco. At shortstop, Freddie Galvis. At left field, Austin Hayes. Center field, Cedric Mullins. At right field, Anthony Santander. At DH, Trey Mancini. At starting pitchers, John Means, Matt Harvey, Adam Plutko, Bruce Zimmerman, Dean Kramer. Felix Hernandez was just recently added to. Tanner Scott at closer. This is a very young team.
Very young.
They're expected to be the worst team in baseball.
And I got them last in the East. Okay.
Last in the East. Anybody you do like on this team?
I'll tell you a kid I did like, and I know you didn't like him too well. I like Plutko that we got rid of. I liked him.
I was on the
I
fence.
think-
He was inconsistent.
Yeah, I know, but I think he probably could be one of the better pitchers they got.
Yeah, they don't have much. One guy I will tell you, watch out for Ryan Mountcastle, their
yeah.
first base outfield. He's expected to be like, basically their rising star in the game. He's expected to be like a 270, 280 hitter, but he could hit you up to 30 home runs. That's what they're trying to say about him. Other than that, there's not much to
No,
really
they have
look for in
nothing.
Baltimore. We'll go down to Beantown for the Boston Red Sox. At catcher, Christian Vasquez. At first base, Bobby Delbeck. At second base, Enrique Hernandez. At third base, Rafael Devers. Shortstop, Xander Bogaerts. Left field, Franchi Cordero. Center field, Alex Verdugo. At right field, Hunter Renfroe. Designated hitter, J.D. Martinez. Starting pitcher, Eduardo Rodriguez. He's a little banged up right now. Nathan Eovaldi. Martin Perez. Garrett Richards. Chris Sale, who's also banged up, and he's like the Kevin Love of the Major League Baseball. And then Matt Barnes is your closer. What a blast in the past, Matt Barnes. How do you feel about this Boston team? Who do you like?
I predict them next to last, fourth place in the East. You know, not really much I would like. I like as a utility guy, J.D. Martinez.
Oh, yeah, he'll bounce back. He had his first bad year last
Yeah,
year,
I know.
but he'll
I
bounce
know.
back.
I like him. If I was going to take a fantasy guy, that's the guy I would take.
Yeah.
Pitching wise, there's really nothing in the pitching that I would want on my fantasy team.
No.
But
Eduardo Rodriguez, maybe, if he can get himself together. He's been kind of banged up there. Hunter Renfroe's inconsistent, but some power. I like Alex Verdugo. I think he's going to be a consistent
who's
good.
the Red Sox? They got a new manager this year, don't they? Didn't they get a new manager this year? I think their old manager was fired.
I think they brought him back.
They did?
I thought Alex Cora came back. I know AJ Hinch is with the Tigers now.
Right.
He's new. Rafael Devers is a good third baseman to pick up too, and so is Xander Bogaerts. Those are two for sure starters that will get you some good fantasy points right there. But I like Verdugo. I think he's a good contact hitter. I think he fits on most teams there. While he looks that up, we're going to, because we're iffy on time. We already did the White Sox. We're going to go to the Chicago Cubs. Quick rundown of the Cubs. At catcher, Wilson Contreras. First base, Anthony Rizzo. At second base, David Bode. At third base, Chris Bryant. Shortstop, Javier Baez. Left field, Jock Pederson. Center field, Ian Happ. Right field, Jason Hayward. Their starting pitching consists of Kyle Hendricks, Zach Davies, Jake Arrieta, Trevor Williams, and Albert Alzola. I've never even heard of him. Closer, Craig Kimbrell. There. Ron Ronicky.
Ron Nicky's the manager.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought they had a new manager in Boston.
Now in Chicago, it's their former catcher. Who do you like on the Cubs? What do you think about this Cubs team?
Well, let's see, where did I got him in the? I got him second place in the National League Central, behind the Cardinals. I like their catcher,
Wilson Contreras.
Wilson Contreras. Yeah, I like him.
Rizzo will bring you some consistency.
Rizzo brings some consistency, but
Yeah.
I like Contreras. If I had to pick a guy, I'll take him.
A lot of guys think Ian Happ's going to turn it around, have a better home run year. Javier Baez is not a bad pickup either.
No, not bad. I mean,
Chris Bryant's dipping in production. He's not where they thought he would be right there. That's a risk.
I think their pitching is going to be decent. I think there's some.
I like Hendricks and Davies.
I think they're 1, 2, and 3 is okay, but
Yeah.
to get to 4 and 5, I think that's where they're going to have the problem. They're going to have to find somebody to take that.
Does Craig Kimbrell get back together?
I don't think so.
Really?
No,
They said they've been testing out his arm. It's been slowly getting better.
Yeah, I don't. If he's come back, it won't be till next season.
There you go.
Yeah,
He's not what he used to
no,
be.
he's not what he's.
So there you go.
He's going to need a lot of work.
The next team is the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, yeah.
At catcher, Tucker Barnhart. At first base, Joey Votto. At second base, Jonathan India. At third base, Mike Moustakas. At shortstop, Igueno
can't pronounce it either.
Suarez. Oh, I can say it, but for some reason right now I cannot say it. Jesse Winkler at left field, Nick Senzel at center, right field Nick Castellanos at start pitching, Luis Castillo, Sonny Gray, Tyler Maw, Wade Miley, Michael Lorenzen, and then their closers Amir Garrett. They did trade their closer in the offseason. Who do you like on this Reds team?
I like Sonny Gray. I would take Sonny on my staff. Castellano, I like him. Pitching's only we got to work on the defense. Last year we led all of baseball with 8 errors. That's what hurt them last year. Bats are good. I'd take Votto.
You'll take Votto.
I'll take Votto.
He's been up and down.
He has been up and down, but he's as for clutch guy. I got him 4th in our division.
Okay.
All right. I think they're going to be ahead of Pittsburgh.
Okay. Yeah. Pittsburgh's a mess right now.
They're a mess right now. We do got some decent pitching. We lost a lot losing Bowers. I wish we would have kept Bauer. But I think Sonny Gray will step up.
Right.
I like the guy. He did pretty good last year. I can't remember the ERA was 2. Might have been 3.10, but
right.
But
does Nick Senzel turn it around?
I hope.
Top prospect really hasn't. He's built his mold yet.
He hasn't showed much yet.
No, we'll see.
But all in all, I think it's going to be a rough year. I look for the Reds winning 70 games, maybe. Pitching. It all going to boil down to our defense. Last year, our defense was horrible. Horrible. Bats were, I think the team, they batted .258 or something as a team. But they lost a lot of games by giving unearned runs because of errors.
Right.
And I think that's what really upset Bauer. I think because Bauer lost, he won the Cy Young, but he lost a couple games because of errors. The errors cost him. He gives 1 run, 3 unearned runs. Of course, he's going to get the loss.
Yeah.
I think that's why he wasn't thinking about when they offered, because they offered him a pretty decent contract to stay there. They Cincinnati don't have the money. They're a small market team. They're a smaller market in Cleveland. We don't have the money that but the Dodgers are going to offer. But oh no, go ahead next one. Leave that alone.
Okay.
Leave the Reds alone.
Colorado Rockies, the catcher Elias Diaz, first base CJ Cron, second base Ryan McMahon, third base John Fuentes, replacing Nolan Arenado at shortstop Trevor Story, left field Ramel Tapia, center field Sam Hillard, at right field Charlie Blackmon. At start pitchers include German Marquez, John Gray, Kyle Freeland, Antonio Cinstella. And a lot of these guys are hurt, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of them are hurt. And that's the reason why I got them. They're
closer Daniel Bard. Yeah.
I think they're going to start off. They have a lot of hurt guys. They're going to be playing a lot of newcomers, a lot of guys that didn't play a lot last year. They're all going to a lot of starters. I think you're going to have probably maybe 4 starters from last year start.
Right. It's going to be a tough year.
It's going to be a tough year. That's why I got him last in the division.
I like Trevor Story though for fantasy.
Oh yeah, he's one of the top fantasy guys listed here.
Yep, top 12 player overall in the past couple of years. We did that. We're going to move on to Houston for catcher Martin Maldonado.
I like
first base Yuli Gurriel, second base Jose Altuve, third base Alex Bregman, shortstop Carlos Correa, left field Michael Brantley, center field Miles Straw, right field Kyle Tucker, DH Jordan Alvarez, at start pitchers Zach Greinke, Lance McCullers, Jake Odorizzi, Christian Javier, Jose Urquidy, and then closer is Ryan Presley.
All right, well, they're going to win the division.
They're a good team on paper.
On paper, they're one of the best teams in the American League. If you want to be technical about it, I do like the Yondo guy you pronounce.
Yuli Gurriel.
Yeah, I do like him. Jose Altuve, I like.
Altuve.
I'm sorry. I'm bad with names, people.
I like Alex Bregman and Michael Brantley better.
Bregman, I do like Bregman too.
Yeah, Altuve's going down the down slope of his career starting now.
But he's, I think, he could be a good pickup for some fantasy.
Oh yeah, I would definitely take Altuve given the chance here. Jordan Alvarez could also hit you some home runs.
Yeah.
Greinke, solid starter. The rest are kind of iffy for us. They usually have a good rotation.
They usually got a good rotation, but this year I think their rotation's down there and their bullpen's up.
Right.
I think that's what's going to, except for Zach Greinke.
There you go.
They lost their big stud. He's out for the year. Justin
Verlander. That one's going to hurt them.
Yeah, they lost him. I mean, he's out for the year. So
we'll go on to the defending champion Los Angeles Dodgers. Catcher Will Smith, first base Max Muncy, second base Galvin Lux and Chris Taylor will rotate. Third base Justin Turner, shortstop Corey Seager, left field AJ Pollock, center field Cody Bellinger, right field Mookie Betts. Starting pitchers include Clayton Kershaw, Trevor Bauer, Walker Buehler, Julio Urias, and Dustin May. Closer for another season, it will be Kenley Jensen. He's been there for a while. I like this team on paper a lot. I think they could defend.
On paper, they probably could win the World Series. I'd take every one of their pitchers.
Yep.
And I'd take Mookie Betts.
Yep, definitely. You will take.
I'm definitely going to.
But Betts is rated the number one in a lot of leagues.
Yeah.
ESPN. I don't know if Yahoo's got him there, but ESPN does. Bellinger will get you home runs.
Bellinger will get you some home runs.
Seager's a little inconsistent, but he can do you some good.
But
Turner's good.
If I had a way to draft every one of their starting pitchers, I'd have them all.
Right. Will Smith and Max Muncy start players. Does Galvin Lux make the expectations though?
No.
Nope.
No, I don't think so. I think he'd be a 250 hitter.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, that's personally my opinion, but don't hold me to my opinion. I've been wrong. I picked some good kids that were duds, and I picked some bad kids that became no good. They became great.
Right.
Yeah, so.
We're running out of time. Let's speed this up in this way.
Right,
I'll give you a team name. You tell me how you think they'll do, and we'll pick players we like.
Right.
Okay. Los Angeles Angels.
The Angels. Where's my American League at here? They're over here.
I like Mike Trout.
Oh, yeah, Mike Trout, definitely. I got them...
and Rocio Iglesias I like too.
I got them third in division.
Third in the division.
I'll take Trout.
They're closer to the former Reds one. I like him too a lot there. Miami Marlins, they shocked people last year. I like Starling Marte's not bad.
Marte's pretty good.
I like also Sixto Sanchez, the key guy in I think the Yankees trade. I think.
Yeah, he came from the Yankees.
Yeah,
he was in the Yankees trade.
He could be some. Other than that, it's where do you have him on your list?
I got him fifth.
You got him fifth.
I really believe that Philadelphia and the Nationals are a little better than them. Of course, the Braves and the Mets are the two teams. So
there you go.
The two teams in that division.
Milwaukee Brewers.
I got them fourth.
Christian Yelich I like. It's Lorenzo King's back after sitting out.
I got both of those. I got both those guys on my list.
Pitching's a little iffy. I like Josh Hader though at closer. Very good. Rated number 1 in fantasy for that. Give some shout to third baseman Travis Shaw returning, their former Kent State player there. All right. We said Brewers. We did Twins. New York Yankees. Unfortunately, I think they're going to be very good.
I got them to win the division.
There you go. They're pitching. Garrett Cole's a good pickup. Maybe Corey Kluber can bring it together. Jamison Talien's
you know what?
a good one.
I would take Kluber in a fantasy.
I got a team that has him. If he's healthy, he's going to be worth it.
I think he'd give us some points.
Aroldis Chapman at closer, always a good pick.
Yeah.
Sanchez, you might want to stay away from. He's just not what he used to be. Luke Voigt, he's hurt, but he's a good player. DJ LeMay, who's great. Gleyber Torres, I think, will surprise people. Clint Frazier, people are on the fence about. Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge, I think, will have great home runs.
Frazier's still with him?
Yep, he's going to start, too.
Ew.
The Mets.
Oh, we know where we're going with there.
Does he sign an extension, though?
I don't know. You know what? You think about that extension that they offered him. All right. Well, first of all, he signed for 10 years for... What, $328 million?
Right.
And he wants a 2 more added for another $60 million a year. You know, he's getting older, too.
Yeah.
10 years, he's going to be 40.
We're talking about Francisco Lindor, by
Frankie.
the way, if you have
Frankie Lindor. Okay.
Other guys I like on this team, Jacob deGrom. I like Cookie Carrasco, but he's hurt. Marcus Stroman, too, coming off a year where he didn't play because of COVID. Closer Edwin Diaz is a good. I like James McCann for catcher too. If you want a quality catcher,
Yeah.
I like
great
him
catcher.
there. Where do you have him on your list?
I got the Mets second behind the Braves.
The Mets second behind the Braves there. For the Oakland Athletics,
I got them second behind the Astros.
a lot of power, not a lot of you got Matt Olson and Matt Chapman, the Matt brothers there. They're not really brothers, but they can hit home runs for sure. Chris Bassett is an underrated starting pitcher. He will be their starter tomorrow too. They got some key starters that could be something. Other than that, just be very careful with them. Philadelphia Phillies.
I got them fourth in the East.
He's got them fourth in the East there. I like Zach Wheeler. Aaron Nola's all right. Zach Elfin's all right too. I'd be very cautious with Bryce Harper. He just hasn't been producing like you would think. JT Realmuto seems to be the top catcher in fantasy this year. Pittsburgh Pirates, you got him last. I do want to mention I like Key Brian Hayes, their third baseman, a lot. I think he's got a special place in this league. Left fielder Brian Reynolds is also a 300 hitter, except for last year in major leagues. From college to minor leagues in his first season in the majors, he was a 300 hitter, so somebody watch out for that. Something to watch out for. Other than that, this team's going to be hard to watch. San Diego Padres.
I got them second behind the Dodgers.
Second behind the Dodgers, they are a very good team. Eric Hosmer, great player. Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., all guys I would watch out for.
Tatis is the guy I want.
Will Myers.
Myers, another one.
Great.
Machado's one.
Yep. Darvish, Blake Snell, Chris Paddock.
I mean, they have the guns to overtake the Dodgers.
They do.
You
This is going to be a very good team there. We're almost done. We might go a little off. We only got a couple more teams here. A little over, I should say. San Francisco Giants. They're not going to be very good this year.
I got them next to last, behind the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Believe it or not, there's nobody really on this team I would take for San Francisco.
They're going to be a very weak team.
Seattle Mariners.
All right, Seattle. That could be. That's a so-so team. I got them fourth, but I can see them in third in the West.
Right. We'll see what their pitching does. James Paxton back. Justice Sheffield, former Indians prospect, will be on that rotation this year too. Let me see. St. Louis Cardinals.
I got the Cardinals winning the division, winning the Central, the National League.
There you go. Yadier Molina will take his 18th straight opening day tomorrow. Paul Goldschmidt is a good player there. Nolan Arenado is a good player.
You think about that opening 18 years in a row
behind the
plate, a catcher.
Current defending American League champions, Tampa Bay Rays. How do you feel about them?
I got them second behind the Yankees in the East, American League East.
Yeah, I think they're going to be very good. For Andy Arzarena is somebody to watch out for. Tyler Glasnow, Ryan Yarbrough. I can't even say it.
I can't.
He's their star. He's their other star pitcher. They're good. Willie Adams. They also have the number one prospect in the league at shortstop. I can't think of his name. We'll see if he comes up later this year. I have him on a team on the bench just in case he comes up. Francisco Mejia is also now on that team at backup catcher. He was traded to them. Texas Rangers.
I got them. Where you at? They're last in the West.
There's nobody I really like on this team.
No, there's nobody there either.
It's tough for them. They're Toronto Blue Jays.
I got them third in the East. American League East. Vladimir
Guerrero Jr. is good. Kevin Biggio, we'll see how he pans out. Bo Bichetti is also a talented player there. Lourdes Gurriel, a great power hitter there for them. George Springer is hurt, but that's going to be another guy to watch out for. I also really like, there was a pitcher, Young Jin Ryu is, he's going to be, you got to watch it. Like, he could be a quality addition, or he's going to be a batting cage. It's going to be one of those or inconsistent. We'll see. He's getting up to his career. Last but not least, the Washington Nationals.
This is a team that, man, year in, year out, they come out, they tell you, they got these great, of course, they had Harper at one time, and they had so many names, and they always had them predicted. I got them third. I don't think, I don't even, they might even drop to fourth in my poll.
They have a lot of aging veterans on this team, but a couple key guys, Trey Turner and Juan Soto, are two of the great young guys in the game. Shortstop and outfield right there. But Max Scherzer, Stephen Strasburg, Patrick Corbin, and then they got John Lester now too. That's a solid rotation there. And I like Brad Hand too, if you're talking fantasy there. That is it. We went a little bit over because of opening day tomorrow and whatnot. Thank you, Bob, our engineer there, for settling for 5 minutes over here. That is it for 10 Cent Beer Night. Thank you, Baseball Bob. We'll see you next week when we talk about.
We're going to talk about some college baseball next week. I'll give you some top prospects in college.
There you go. We'll talk about that. We'll go even more into detail about baseball next week. On that note, I'm Seth. This is Bob. You guys have a good one here at PlywoodCityRecords.com. Go Tribe!